Hello, everyone, and welcome to You've Retired, Now What? I'm here to help you navigate through these waters of deciding what's the rest of my life going to look like? What's my next phase going to look like? What have I not done that I wanted to do? I'm your host, Michael Kiffmeyer, and each week on this podcast, I give you tips and tricks, processes, and methodologies that can help you through your thought process. So we got a whole lot to talk about. Let's dive in. I want to share with you that first and foremost, retirement's another phase of life. You know, people think, well, I'm going to retire and I do this and whatever, and I don't have to do anything anymore. I got a news flash for you. Doctors and social scientists have told us we're going to live another 25 to 30 years if we retire at 65. That story kind of goes like this, that our parents and our grandparents' retirement is not the retirement we have today. People do more, they're living longer, and they got more to do than just retire and say, well, that's it. And you have to decide within yourself, if you haven't already planned for it, what is my retirement going to look like? I want to give you about 5 to maybe 7 things that people lie to themselves about in retirement. Number 1, they want to tell you that I'm just going to keep working. I don't want to retire. Well, that's great. But what if your company lays you off? What if your company moves from California to Texas, like many of them do here where I live in California? They've moved their business to Texas. You got family in California, you got grandparents, you've got relatives, and all of a sudden they're going to uproot you. So you have no plans or you have no say in what your life is going to look like if you want to keep your job. Number 2, they're not financially prepared. People should save more than they're doing right now. In a recent survey by Merrill Lynch, they're saying the average person by the age of 65 is saved about $25,000. Why is that? Well, we live in a market-driven world. We're told to buy this, buy that, buy this, and we do. We buy new cars that lose 60% of their value 2 years after you drive them off the lot. So that's not a very good retirement plan. You've got to think of and make saving for retirement each and every day. When we were young, we never thought about that. We just said, well, we were invincible. I mean, we didn't say those words, but that was our mindset. But as you start to get to around your late 40s and 50s, you got to make this a priority. If you don't, you're going to be struggling. Number 3, people say they can't retire because of healthcare cost. That same survey that Merrill Lynch ran, they found that the average person, once they retire, is going to spend about $300,000 in healthcare costs. And guess what? That doesn't even talk about what you're going to do if you have to go to a senior retirement home. So how are you going to pay for all that? Do you have a plan? Do you have an idea? Have you met with your financial planner and worked it all out? You know, financial planners always get the question, how much do I need to retire? I don't know. What are you going to do when you retire? What is your plans? What are you spending now? And are you really going to pare back? I say not. Once you get into a phase of this is how much we spend every month, etc., it's real hard to change. You've heard me say before, it takes about 90 days to make real change occur. So you're going to have to think about healthcare costs and how you're going to handle that. You're going to have to think about inflation. How are you going to handle that? You don't have any real say what's going to happen. Here we are in August 2024, and right now, this week, the week of August the 5th, stock market's taking a nosedive. My wife and I are watching our 401k just dwindle away. And isn't that a shame? We've worked hard, saved hard our entire lives, and we're watching it dwindling. Ever think about how you're going to handle that? How you're going to prepare for your future, whatever that may be? I want to share with you, I'm not a financial planner, but you need to see your financial planner because things change. He might find, or she might find, tax breaks for you that you didn't think were out there. They might find ways that you can curb spending that you never thought of. They might find ways to help you prosper in an inflationary period versus struggle. And you don't want to struggle. You don't want to go to your 65, 70, 75 years old and beyond and struggle. Life wasn't meant to be that way. What's some of the other things that people say they don't want to retire? Well, I just keep working. I like work. That's great. That's great. As long as you have a job and people do not lay you off, because guess what? You're headed towards your 70s and they can get a young person half your price. Not right. And I know there's age discrimination. None of the corporations will admit it, but if anybody's tried to get a job over the past age of 50, you know what's out there. You've faced it on a regular basis. What other reasons do they give? Well, I just like to work. That's great. Hope your company keeps you. What are you going to do if they don't? What is your plan B? And you say, I don't even have a plan A. I just thought I'd work until I die. Doesn't work that way anymore. You know, I came from Cincinnati, Ohio. Two big corporations there, Procter & Gamble and Kroger. And I had a father-in-law that was there for 42, 45 years. I have people stayed at Kroger, probably the largest grocery chain in the country, in the United States. And they thought they were going to be there forever. Well, guess what happens when they sell? They don't need all these people, and you might be one of them that they don't need. Many people think that retirement's just a dream. Yeah, I like to retire and do nothing, etc., etc. Well, you can if you plan for it, and I'm imploring you to plan for it. Other things, reasons why people do not retire. I think we're up to about number 5 now. They're not retiring because they're afraid of losing their identity, their sense of purpose, and what am I going to be once I retire? You still have this panging in your heart, and you want to do more. You don't quite know what that is. So my message here is this. You could retire. You can plan for your retirement. It can be anything you want it to be. But if you don't plan, it's just a dream. If you don't have it put down on paper, you don't know how to put a timeline to it, and you don't know how to follow through, that's all it's going to be. It's going to be a dream. And you're going to be in that camp that says someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to do it. You know what happens to someday? Someday never comes around. And if you think you're waiting for the right time, I've had clients said, well, I need to work one more year. I'll grant you, there are times that it's financially prudent of you to maybe delay it for a couple years. But if you keep delaying it and delaying it, you're not going to do whatever it is you want to do. So let's go to another reason. People are fundamentally, they're afraid. When you work, everything's just structured here, 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 and you don't want to give that up. I'm imploring you to, now it's time for you. You might have raised families, taken care of significant others, did things for people throughout your life. Now it's your time. You've thought about this your entire life. Why do you let it go simply because you're afraid to take the next step? And the next step is just another phase. It's a phase just like, say you went to high school and then you went on to college. You had to adjust. You got to do the same thing here. You got to adjust. There's a lot of mental and visionary ideas that you might have that are going to scare you. And they're going to scare you to the point that you might have analysis by paralysis. You don't do anything. And all of a sudden you're retired, and 2, 3, 5 years go by, and you say, where in the hell did time go? Well, I'll tell you where it went. It went as it normally did. You just weren't doing anything. If you take action, you'll see a difference in your life. If you don't take action, you're letting life happen to you rather than you kind of sitting a stake in the ground and say, this is what I want my life to be. Here's how I'm going to go about it. And I don't want to just, be an also-ran. I want my life to be meaningful. I want it to make a difference in other people's life, in my life. I want to leave a legacy so my children and my children's children, my grandchildren, can see, Grandpa or Grandma really lived a great life. Hey guys, real quick, if you've been struggling to answer the question, now what, after you've retired, I'd like to invite each and every one of you to my free Now What challenge that can help you reignite your spark, give yourself a sense of direction, try to decide exactly what it is you want to do in this next phase of your life. People are very smart and they get worn out. I know that. But eventually they know they got to do something more. And you need a purpose to get up and out of that bed each and every morning. I have tools, processes, and methodologies that I'm going to share with you in this challenge that I believe will help you clear your mind and decide exactly what you're going to do in this next phase of your life. They always were after it. They never let things get to them too much. Sure, we all get down. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's all rainbows and sunshine. It's not. Life goes like this, does it not? It goes boom. And I hear people say, I just want a nice even kill. Nice even kill doesn't happen. Nice even easy getting along doesn't happen. What happens is that you got to face and be ready for life's interrupts. I don't care what age you are. I'm a strong believer age is just a number. I all of a sudden, after I retired at 67 years old, it just flew by. I asked myself the question, how in the hell did I have time to work? Well, we did it. We stressed ourselves out. We did what we had to do and provided for who we had to outside of ourselves. So we were strong. You're still strong. And I want you to take that strength and apply it to your life now. Why sit and dream of what could be? We know those guys. I had a football coach that used to call them drugstore cowboys. And that was way back in the day. But drugstore cowboys are the people that sat outside the pharmacy and said, I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. Well, you can kind of weigh that, and it goes nowhere. I could have been great. Why haven't you been great? I could have done this. Why didn't you do it? I could have done that. And again, why did you not do it? So don't talk yourself out of retirement. It's real easy to do. We think that we are going to live forever. And praise God, I hope that you do. But there's many people that don't get to. I got friends that died at 53 years old at the prime of their life. I got a friend that was a doctor that contracted ALS. I had a brother contract ALS way too early, and it happens like that. It doesn't give you a waiting period. So you got enough time now, but you don't have time forever. So you need to quit making excuses and start driving towards whatever it is you always thought you wanted to do. It might not be anything close to what you did when you were in the working world. It may be totally different. Why can't you take a chance? Okay? You don't have to support a whole lot of people. Maybe your significant other right now. Why can't you take a chance? It's not up to you to raise your grandchildren. You can love them, be with them, help them, whatever. But those children have parents, and those parents, that's their responsibility, just like it was your responsibility when you were in the working world and trying to make it towards retirement. Retirement's cool, okay? And the reason it's cool, you don't have to listen to everybody anymore. And people say, well, you should do this, you should do that. Stop it. I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. Do you hear anything I'm saying? This is what I want. I don't want to do what everybody wants me to do. I don't know about you, but I can tell you, when I was growing up, I tried to fit in, all right? I grew up a chubby kid, and I've been on a diet my entire life. I've worked out, and I've always tried to better myself. I certainly understand that's not everybody out there. But what I want to share with you, you could take some baby steps. When I was part of the corporate world, my job was to help organizations to train their people, their personnel, customers, and any distributors they had. And I always told them, rather than trying to attack everything at once, my basic philosophy was creep, crawl, walk, run. You do it in little bites. You don't do it all at once. You do it as you can measure it, and you can attain it, and you're not shooting for pie in the sky. Chances are probably real good you're not going to the moon. That's not a goal. But losing 40 pounds or running a marathon, that could be a goal. That old car that sat out in your driveway for 10 years that you're going to redo, and now you're 7 years into retirement and you haven't touched it, what's stopping you outside of your mind? Your mind stops you, okay? And once you get, start to procrastinate, it leads to laziness, and you've got good intentions, but intentions aren't diddly unless you take those intentions and put them into an action plan. I want to share with you that here in August, I'm going to run a challenge. It's a free 5-day challenge called the Now What Challenge. And the Now What Challenge relates to, you've retired, now what? And if you have no idea what you want to do next, I have tools, processes, methodologies. I've been an educator my entire life. I've set goals, I've changed careers on a continual basis throughout my life. Throughout that time, I've developed processes and methodologies that I believe can help you as well. In this 5-day challenge, and we're going to find out, what is your why? Why do you want to do what you want to do? What are your interests? What are your values? And do they interconnect? I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't interconnect, you're not going to do them. And the one thing about you having time for you right now is this. You can always change. You don't have to be locked into what other people say. Well, you should do this and you should do that. How about doing for once what you want to do instead of what other people say you should do? Why not? And if you start down a path and it doesn't work for you, let's change. You got time, and you got to find something that gives you that reason to get up out of that bed each and every morning, be happy, and live the best possible life that you can do. So I want to thank you for listening today. My email, if you want to get in contact with me, is mfkiffy, the number 1 at gmail.com. I'm also on many of the social media platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. I'm even on TikTok. So reach out, and if I can be of assistance to you, or you think you might like to join this challenge, It's free to you, and you might get some tools and some information you never thought of that can help you live the best possible life that you dreamed of. I thank you once again, I thank you for listening. Keep dreaming. Know that your life is worth it, and let's go for it. I'm here to help. Hey, before we conclude this episode, I'd like each and every one of you to know that your thoughts, your dreams, and what you would like to get out of this podcast is valuable to me. My whole goal and my mission is to serve you like I have served others. For years I had taught major corporations how to use learning as a competitive advantage. I want to do the same for you. So please leave your notes or reach out to me, and I want to gear this podcast towards your wants and needs and help you as much as I can. Again, this is Michael Kiffmeyer, and you've listened to You've Retired, Now What? I want to thank each and every one of you for listening.